So what's economics? You know, we all have our needs. Food is a need, clothes are a need, roof is a need, water is a need, sanitation is a need, etc. Education is a need, health is a need. They are all needs without which we will not be able to live and function. Imagine, you know, our functioning depends upon our needs being met. We all have needs, and nature has the capacity to supply our needs, provided we work together on nature. That's very important. And we know it also. Who doesn't know? Everyone works on nature. How did you build all this? Nature. So we have our needs which are basic for our life, without which we cannot live and function. They are the needs, and to make the quality of life better, you have wants also. For example, you know, tomorrow you have to go to office. You require a vehicle. That is a need. If you have ambassador or if you have Innova, you know, want. From need to want comes quality of life. Quality of life also depends upon needs, but if you want to enhance the quality of life, AC, we have air conditioner we have here. That's a want, because nobody is going to die without the AC. But if you want to be productive, you require the AC, you need the fan, all this. So there are wants and there are needs. I'm going to show you a table comparing, contrasting needs and wants. So yes, how does that come into economics? The whole of economics is meeting your needs. So there is nature, there we are, we have our needs, we need to work on the nature, and to work on the nature we need to come together, and maybe in course of time we'll invent all the machinery and so on. So from time to time, progressively, gradually, historically, we get nature to fulfill our needs and wants. That is what the history is about. History is the history of economics. What else is history? You know, somebody occupies your country. Why will he occupy? For economics. Somebody from Central Asia comes, somebody from Britain comes, somebody from here, there, every. Why do they come? They come for economic resources. So, you know, you have, but the whole point about nature is, you know, honestly speaking, honesty comes later, okay, let's speak first. So, you know, land, scarce. In the whole of the land of the world, India has only 2.5% of the land. And how many people are we? 18% of the global population. 18% global population. You know, and 18% is crammed into 2.5% of the global land is ours, 2.4, 2.5, 17.7, 17.8. Global population is about 8 billion. We are 1.4. You can do some math. This is the land. 2.5% of the global geography is ours, into which you squeeze 18% of the people. That is why the demographic density is very thick in the country. Who knows it better than people living in Delhi? So now, so scarcity is what? Land is scarce. We have to use the land for agriculture. We have to urbanize, keep 33% of the geography as forest, thick green cover, forest for environment, agriculture for food, urbanization for non-agricultural goods and our living, plus you have to have housing stock also to be accommodated. But the land is such a small parcel in comparison to the people that there are in the country. So that is where the economist comes. Economist tells you, you know, this is the land we have, it's a scarce resource for us, and we have to use it primarily for example, you please recall, In West Bengal, in Singur, there was fertile land taken away and given to Tatas to build small car. And the lady comes to power and she kicks out Tatas and then returns the land to the farmer. So here is a classical case. Fertile land, food, and farmer uses it 2-3 times, that is your gross cropped area. So farmer uses it, number one, assured income, number two, food security for us, number three. And here is the land being taken away and given for industrialization. Classical case of a conflict in the utilization. So economist, what did the economist tell the government? Sir, all right, land is there, agriculture, fertile, but sir, productivity of the land when it is used for, I hope I am communicating? Yeah, okay, yeah. So, productivity of the land, industrial land, you can produce anything there, produce cars for the whole of Africa, wherever else. And this land you can always compensate by genetically modified organisms and so on and so forth, give the farmers their compensation. And also please recall, Land Acquisition Act was sought to be amended by ordinance more than 4 times. Give money to the farmer, take his land and use it for hotel, hospital, factory, anything. They refused to give. Land is more than money for us. Land is a way of life. So how do you ensure that utilization of land, which is an enormously scarce resource, is for the larger good of the society rationally? Rational means, right use and all that. That's about land. Think of water. The question came in the main also, why is there water scarcity? So there is water and we need more than what we have. Water is agriculture, rice and wheat are guzzlers. Water is agriculture, water is drinking water, water is industrial water, water for recreation. So, but you don't have so much of water. It's drying up, drought and so on. So the economist will tell you, there was a debate, I'm sure you will recall, the debate was, is water a commercial good or a social good? Water. We talk of scarcity, we are talking about each resource and we are scrutinizing in what way the scarcity impacts us. Water. Is water a commercial good or a social good? Water is required for everyone. How can people buy water? How can people buy water? It's okay, Bisleri and all that, that's fine. I mean, that's for the upper crust, but others have to be provided water free. Water is a social good. It must be, public good also, the government should supply, but public good is a separate concept. So, water should be supplied free up to a certain level. Now, but what are the proponents of commercializing water? What are they saying? They are saying, if you put a price tag to water, you will use it judiciously. Today, agriculture, water is being wastefully used because it comes free. Nobody charges you for the irrigation. So if you, charge for water, it will be used well. But then others are saying, how can you charge for water? About 50% of the population of the country, with what face will you charge them? You have to give them free water at least, you are not giving them anything else. So, 2 schools of thought about it, etc. So, water is scarce and multiple uses, and the economist will tell you how to use water. What is the whole Karnataka versus Tamil Nadu about? Water. What was the Bandh about? Water. What is the violence about? Water. You are short of water, I am short of water, and how can the shortage be rationally dealt with? You know, that is what the economist will tell you, how much for drinking, how much for irrigation, etc. Now we come to the third scarce resource, food. Food. See, all of you know by the 31st of December, up to the 31st of December, 5 kg of rice or wheat plus millets will be given free. 1st of Jan, as things stand now, we'll see what happens. 1st of Jan, even this 5 kg you will have to pay some 3 rupees, 2 rupees, 1 rupee. Till this policy was made, earlier you had 5 free, Atmanirbhar Anna Yojana, and then 5 you were paying. The free thing is because of COVID, and the free thing is there, the payable payment and all that's gone, and free will become a payment from 1st Jan. Why? Food is scarce. Rice we are producing 130 million tons or so, and we need to also export that. Pulses we don't produce so much. We are exporting from Mozambique, Canada, Myanmar. We are importing from there. Pulses. Edible oils, you know it, Ukraine, Russia, Malaysia, etc. So food is scarce. To import foreign currency is scarce. So the economist will tell you how to ensure that there is food security in the country, how much of subsidy the government can give and can't give, etc., etc. So food is scarce, and then you come to skills, which is what you call human capital. Human capital. You know, your skills, your education, your health, your knowledge, all that is human capital. You use that to produce goods and services which are meant for consumption. It's capital. That is scarce. Today, take semiconductors. We never made them. We have to make them. How do you make them? You require people. Are they in India? Indians, but they are elsewhere. So you have the human capital, all right. Artificial intelligence is knocking on the doors. World will be a different place very, very soon. Already it is impacting. Where are the people who are skilled in it? What did Sam Altman say? Of course, he was very rude and he was offensive. But the fact is that Indians cannot crack the AI. That's what in India. That's what he said. Why? Because, please understand, Indians actually, potentially the whole world is running because of us. Actually, we are not able to tap into the talent of the Indians within India itself. It's something like Bihar. The finest of the human capital can be made from Bihar, but they are not doing it. We also in India, Sundar Pichai, America. Satya Nadella, America. IBM, some Krishna, America. So, who is here? Only the business is here. Intellect is elsewhere. So, that's what he meant. The point is this. The point is, these skills are also required for your production and productivity, but you have tremendous shortage of them. Nurses short, doctors short, teachers short, AI guys short. So, there is enormous scarcity of skills, scarcity of human capital. Economists will tell you, establish centers of excellence, AI. Let anybody who passed 10th class, 12th class, let him go to the AI. Straight away, train him. Because you got the internet and all that, you can train. And bring the best of the brains from abroad, etc. Make a committee, make a team, let them train, and let us supply not only to India, but to the whole world. That is how you have hard power and also soft power. So skills are short, human capital that is short. So my point is, this is how scarcity is what you are negotiating with. I want everyone to have a computer and digital access. 5G in India, that's a need. That's a need. You may call it a want also. But for that you require technology, manpower, government policy, all of them. They're all in scarce. They're all in scarcity. So, but what happens when there is scarcity? You have to pay more. Are you not paying more? From the 1st of January, in your fair price shop, food is going to cost you 3, 2, 1 rupees. As of now, it's not costing you. Till yesterday and the day before, 5 were free, 5 were costing you. Now, because of scarcity, you are having to pay. Think of tomatoes. How much were you paying for tomatoes a few months back? You were paying crazy amount for tomatoes, and within 3 months they were being dumped on the road. So, scarcity creates price rise, number one. Scarcity cuts into consumption, number two. Scarcity brings the government regulation, number three. All of them are linked to scarcity. Because there is scarcity, these features you find in the economy. So that is about scarcity. Now, from scarcity, I don't want to directly go into opportunity cost and trade-off. I don't want to. Because, some psychological barrier is there that we need to go a little slow, etc., etc. I'm going slow, I'm sure. Two things I am disgusted. I should never rush, number one, and I should never suppress a question, number two. I should never use a big word also, number three. These are the 3 disgusting things I expect myself never to do. I hope you please keep an eye, be vigilant. I should never do this. So, after this, where do we go? How the economist advises, what's his ideology, liberalism, neoliberalism, Gandhi, Nehru, socialism, communism, welfare state, all that, we'll handle that little later. Now, so you have to meet your needs. What is it that you have at your disposal with the help of which you will work on nature to produce for consumption? They are called factors of production. Factors. Dharmendra ji, needs, wants. That table I would like to have. Needs, wants. This is something else. Needs and wants. I think one of the first that I sent you. One of the first, maybe first one, second one. Oh, okay. But needs and wants would be good before we get here. It'll come little later. That's all. Somewhere it'll be there. Okay, but then it's okay. If it's missing, there's no problem. It's made, So, factors of production. If there is any difficulty in following me, you please tell me. There is no difficulty. I don't see any difficulty at all because my life's mission is to simplify. After all, you may not be students of economics. Why should I not be able to simplify? Factors of production. These are the factors of production. One, land. You know, these are all inputs. Land is what? Everything about land is, you know, whatever the land contains is land. It's not just the land that you and I have heard of. Agriculture, land; minerals, land; all your whatever else you have, fish and all that, animals, they're all land. What else is there? They're all land. The resources of land are land. That's one of the input. After all, everything around us, the steel, you know, all the metals, the minerals, etc., the oil, the petrol, everything that's, you know, minerals. So agriculture is land, the food and the non-food, they're all land. And then labor. Labor. Labor is human manual effort. Manual, that is labor. You know, blue collar, you know, the shop floor industrial workers. White collar, the service oriented, office going, you know, person. Pink collar is essentially all the receptionists and nurses, etc., the jobs which are primarily meant for women. You know, that's one meaning, pink collar. Golden collar is those guys who are born with a silver spoon. They are the privileged people. They are working all right, you know. Anand Mahindra, he inherited from his father. You know, the Mukesh Ambani inherited not that high level, but much less also those people who are privileged, inherit, you know, hereditary, etc. That is golden collar. Black collar, the people who work in all these steel, coal industries, the dirty or clothes and all that, black collar. So the manual human effort is what you, manual is what you call labor. Land labor, capital. You know, capital. Capital is multiple forms of capital, multiple forms. I'll show you all that. I've made a very, very concise, compact graphic for you. Capital is what? Capital is always an investment. Capital is an investment. What is the capital we are talking about? Financial capital, the money that you have lent to somebody, that is capital. Physical capital, the machines, the equipment, the buildings that you have, created, made. Physical capital, mechanical capital, and then you have human capital. We already talked about it, the education, the skills, and so on, health. And fourth one is intellectual capital. I can give you a red hot example for intellectual capital, which is, yesterday the Nobel for Physiology or Medicine was announced. Those two guys who cracked mRNA vaccine and saved 20 million lives in the very first year, they are the ones who picked up the Nobel. What do you call that? You call that intellectual capital. You want to make a vaccine? They will give you the formula. That is the intellectual capital. Google search engine, intellectual capital. Google Bard, intellectual capital. Microsoft Word, intellectual capital. You know, all the trademarks and copyrights and what have you. That is the intellectual capital, the knowledge, etc. And then there is social capital. Social capital is, we are all working, we are a self-help group. Self-help group means 15 to 20 people, largely ladies. Social capital, they work together, they share their resources, they support one another, they have the same values, they network together. All that is what you call social capital. After all, Tatas are working, people working in Tatas, largely most of them are proud they are working for Tatas. And similarly Ambani, etc. So, sharing, a network of relations, making a large group of people, small group of people work together for a common purpose. You call that social capital. Without that, nothing is possible. Nothing is possible. So that you call social capital. So you got financial, you got physical, you got human, you got intellectual, and you got social capital. 5 forms of capital that I can instantly tell you. There is no 6th form. There is no 6th form. But then see, you've got a formula. Those 2 scientists cracked the mRNA. They got the formula. And there is a laboratory created, scientists created. Somebody called Pfizer has to be there, the enterprise, the entrepreneur behind it, the enterprise. The enterprise is the 4th factor. Why? Because the scientists, the laboratory, the equipment required, and the people to run around in the office, all of them are brought together by this person called the entrepreneur. Without the entrepreneur, nothing is possible. Scientists, what commercial interest they have? Patent and all that, they don't have any commercial skills at all. Left to themselves, they can't do anything. Make them do all this. Bring people, set up a laboratory, create equipment, and create an ecosystem in which all these people can work. Who does it? Pfizer does it. What's Pfizer? It's an enterprise. So enterprise, the entrepreneur, the enterprise, they are the 4th factor. In my view, without that, there's nothing without the enterprise, the entrepreneur, nothing is there to bring the other 3 factors of production to account for goods and services. That is the enterprise, the 4th factor. Enterprise. See, some people call data the 5th factor. That's not true. Data, how can it be the 5th factor? The data is capital. There is data, how many people in India have, let us say, I'm so sorry to give the example, TB, tuberculosis. That is the data. So that is capital. If you have that, you can work on that. That's an input. So it comes under capital. It can't be land, it can't be labor, it has to be capital. The entrepreneur uses this capital as an input for him to be able to produce. So to call data as a 5th factor, in my view, is not justified. So these are the 4 factors of production. I hope we discuss it. Yeah? Everything is okay? Yeah. Yeah, please tell me, I don't want anyone to say, I could not understand. That is like hitting me with a hammer. If you can't understand, you tell me here, because, if you can't understand, it's my failure, please. So you have these 4 factors. Now let us see how the economy evolves before we go into another concept. Or before we go into that another concept, let's go into, now is the time for a little excitement. So what sort of data should I give you for excitement? I will show you what sort of goods there are. You've heard of public goods, merit good, demerit goods, substitute goods, complementary, giffen, Veblen, normal. All these goods you have heard of. I'm going to put some sense into all of them. I'm going to give you examples for all that. Yeah? Can you please speak louder? Fourth sector. Fourth factor. Enterprise, the guy, see, you want me to talk about the entrepreneur? Okay. See, you are a scientist. You can make mRNA, but you are somewhere in Hungary and playing with your kids and family. You are a scientist. And we need a vaccine. So somebody has built up a laboratory, somebody has all those equipments and all that. Somebody to bring all the other three factors together and create a product. Okay, I have agricultural land. Oh, my whole family depends on that. We cultivate vegetables and stuff. But I want somebody who will get into a contract farming deal with 100 farmers. Land is there, labor is there, his finance capital, technology, and then the BT cotton, whatever. So the entrepreneur brings together the other three factors of production to create goods and services, isn't it? That is, without him, believe me, there is nothing else in this world, you believe me. Without the entrepreneur, he is the one who brings the other three. See, I told you, I have 2-3 acres, I have children, subsistence agriculture. I don't have any consistency in income, certainty of income. I'm finding it difficult to send my children to school. Then a guy comes, entrepreneur. He comes and sits with me, has a chai with me, tells me, you have 2-3 acres, your neighbor has 2-3, neighbor has 2-3, he has 2-3, he has 2-3. All of you 100 guys, write a deal with me, a contract, and I have 200 acres. I will grow mangoes, I will grow soya bean, I will grow whatever. And then here are the post-dated checks for you. For the next 5 years, 6 years, every month you got assured income. Land is yours, I'm not taking away your land. So here is the entrepreneur who comes to write a contract so that the productivity of the land goes up, incomes go up, kids are educated and all that. So he is the entrepreneur who transforms the lives of the small farmers. You got it now? Okay. Look anywhere in the world. Government is an entrepreneur or government is a public welfare institution, that's okay. But outside the government, if production has to take place on a commercial scale, you have to have the entrepreneur. Dhirubhai was an entrepreneur, and so millions of people have prospered on his back. So I am a variety of goods. You would like all this. First I will talk of public goods. Public goods. Public goods are, general meaning is what? Goods for the entire public. But technically speaking, public goods are characterized by two features. One, non-excludability and non-rivalrous. Non-excludable, they are very simple words. Non-excludable, non-rivalrous. I'm going to explain that to you. Non-excludable. Non-excludable. Go outside this, classroom, outside the building. The road is a public good. The policeman, public good. Street light, public good. No one can be excluded from that. Police is there, they'll take care of the security of the whole area. Road is there, light is there, no one, who will you exclude? No one, non-excludable. Army is there, keep the country secure. Everyone enjoys the security because armed forces are there. Non-excludable. If you are in India, thanks to the armed forces, you are secure. Judiciary is there. Go to the court. It's a public good and no one can be excluded. The poorest and the richest, both of them have access to the courts. So non-excludable. Non-rivalrous. 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 My consumption of a public good does not diminish it for you. The street light, I'm enjoying, you're enjoying, I'm secure, you're secure. You know, I can see things, you can see things. So non-rivalrous, what is rivalry? Zero-sum game, rivalry is zero-sum. There is a 1 kg food, either you have it or I have it. You know, there is mutual predation there. So non-rivalry is, you know, you enjoy the court, let's go, Supreme Court. Available to all. Me getting the attention of the courts doesn't diminish the attention of the courts for you. Like the street light, like the road, like Indian Armed Forces, like the police. So public good is non-rivalrous. That is, one person enjoying it doesn't diminish the same for others. These are the two core properties of public goods. I am sure you understood. You know, after I speak, the only exercise you have to do is, you know, understand, understand. Don't do anything else except understand, understand, connect it, that's all. Yeah, I know it. I've got my words now, I've got my connections now, I'm fine, let's move on. Understand, understand, that's all. So that's public goods. Second is club goods. There is a club. Club means excludable. You have to, you know, take the membership to be able to go there. So those who are members, enter. Others can't enter. Excludable. Having entered, everyone is on the same level. There is no rivalry. This is the club. To enter, there is membership. Excludable, but non-rivalrous. Enter the club, you are all the same. Before you enter the club, you know there are certain qualifications required. Excludable and all that. So that is club good. Between public and club goods, the difference is in club goods, excludable. Point number 2. That's the second type. Third type is, you know, complementary. Complementary goods. Complementary means you never buy them alone. They'll not function alone. Shoes, socks, laces also. And then you've got a computer, the printer is there, cartridge is there, they go together. Like that you have so many examples you can go on and on with. So many examples. I just thought I'll give you 2 examples. You can go on and on. They are complementary goods. You know, pant, shirt, complementary. Like that you see, table, chair, complementary. So they are complementary goods. Then you've got substitute. Substitute goods. Everyone gives the same example. Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola. You can substitute. You see, Haldiram, Bikaner. You can substitute. You know, so what can be substituted because they are similar. So you call them substitutable, substitute goods. 5 is inferior goods. inferior goods. See, you know what inferior goods are? The goods, no, I'm not asking you, I'm just, the goods that you will not use if your income increases. For example, I go by metro. Right now, I go by metro. Tomorrow I earn a little more, maybe I'll Uberize my transport. The day after I'll have, a little more money, I will have private transport. So yes, inferior goods are abandoned when the incomes rise. Food also, basically, when your income is low, starch. When your income is a little more, protein, even more, eat even less, whatever scale. So, inferior goods are, consumed less when the income rises. I'll give you an even more apt example, which is today as a student, you use Microsoft pirated variety. The day you are an officer, you will go for the original Microsoft Word. That's because they'll catch you if you are using the pirated one. Also because you're far more comfortable, you can afford a damn good original, lots more applications and controls, etc. So that's another example for inferior goods. Now, Giffen goods, Giffen, Giffen, Giffen goods. They're very interesting. Giffen goods are inferior goods whose demand rises when their prices rise. Generally, when the price rises, the demand goes down because demand and supply go in opposite directions. The more the demand, the less the price, the less the demand. The more the demand, the more the price. That is one relation. Here I am saying if the price rises, the demand goes down, opposite. Price falls, demand goes up, But here is a situation where, as far as the inferior goods are concerned, prices go up. I'll give you an example. Take onion. In Delhi, onions, once in a while, the price shoots up to 80, 90, 100 rupees a kg. Otherwise 15, 20, whatever, affordable. So when the onion price goes to 35, 40, there will be a stampede on the onion is, I don't say onion is inferior, but it is inexpensive, essential, but inexpensive. And when there is a crisis and the price shoot up, there is a stampede to collect as much onion as is available at 30, 40, whatever. Onion. It never happened, but I can give you one more example. Salt. If the price of salt goes up, there will be a stampede again to collect the salt, whatever it is, if it's kg 15, 20 rupees now. Let it go to 25, 30, we'll all be on the roads to collect the salt because that's essential. So I would not say inferior, I'll rephrase myself. Inexpensive, essential good, when the prices go up of it, there will be more demand. That is a classical definition of the Giffen good. Classical definition. I hope you got it. I'm sure you got it.
Sir, is there any relation of inferior goods with Giffen goods?
No, inferior and Giffen you wanted to connect. Yeah?
Yes.
See, I in my last line rephrased myself and said that instead of inferior goods, I will say inexpensive, essential. Onion, you please tell me tomorrow, you are the richest man in India. Will you drop onion? No. Onion is not inferior. Everyone, every day, whatever be his income, has onion as a part of his food. So it's not inferior. If your income goes up, you are not going to drop it. That's why I changed my line to say it is essential but inexpensive. Yeah? Don't use the word inferior. Lots and lots of definitions around the dictionaries use it, but you can't connect with that. So, essential, inexpensive, goods of everyday use. When their price goes up, surely you have no choice but to go after them, isn't it? If it is highly priced, then if it is, none of our essentials is highly priced. The rice, the wheat, the onion, the salt, all that. They're not. So that is your given. Now you come to Veblen. Veblen goods are very interesting. They are luxury goods, status goods, and they are exclusivist. So which means what? If the price of the goods increases, superior means luxury goods, not these, luxury goods. When the price goes up, the demand goes up. Basically, we live on a principle of exclusivity. What only I have and a few others have, I would like to have, because that gives me a standout, sort of a status in the society. So now it is costing me 1,000 rupees. It's become 1,200. So secretly I am happy. Only I and a few others can afford it. Lot of people can't afford it. So I will have exclusive status. That is how Veblen goods behave. And you got, maybe I should write here, 1A, merit and demerit. Demerit. Merit is, right now, food is coming. Of course, now free. Policy as it stands today, 1st of January onwards, it will be subsidized, not free. So the government thought that food should be subsidized because you need to be food secure. Food Security Act, that is why it says that there has to be subsidized. Primary education. Primary education, of course, is a public good now. But then the colleges and the universities where we have studied, they offered us education on a concessional basis. Merit good. A merit good, there is a concept here, I would like to bring that concept into our discussion. Externality. Externality. Externality is the impact. Listen to me. So there is coal-fired power plant, it is polluting, we all coughing and so on. Coal-fired power plant. So coal is there, power is there, and we sort of have electricity, coal-fired power plant. But then the pollution and the global warming that it causes, the externality is negative, and therefore carbon tax. So, demerit, tax it harder. Demerit goods, that coal-fired thing I told you, demerit goods. Similarly, take, I'll give you 2 examples. You may agree with me, not agree with me, that's another thing, but they are the standard examples. Alcohol. I've read the other day, even 1 drop of alcohol is bad for your health. You won't agree with me because you are young people. That's another story. Yeah. You see, at your age, I would have also opposed all that. So, demerit. So, you impose such a lot of taxation on alcohol that the consumption hopefully will go down, and this money that you collected, you can fund education or whatever. You know, luxury goods, be it luxury this, luxury that, they are also demerit goods. They not only do not justify any subsidy, but they also require to be taxed heavily. So, demerit goods are to be discouraged in their consumption by heavy taxation, because externalities are, you know, negative. Merit goods are such that the externalities are good. For example, if I support higher education or secondary education, I want all of you to go to higher education, that is your college and all that. I can, government can subsidize it. Primary is public good, secondary is merit good, and there is no demerit. Education is never demerit. The higher you go, the better. And externality positive, therefore merit. Externality negative, therefore demerit. This is how it works out. And then I will give you one more type of goods, normal goods. You know, normal goods are when your income rises, the demand rises. Actually, between you and I would like to call onion normal good. When your income rises, it's neither normal, you know, you can't slot it into any essential, you could say. Normal goods are those, demand rises, you know, when your income rises, for example, you know, clothes or what. So, these are the, Dharmendra ji, let us have the table. Yeah. I hope the visibility is okay. It has whatever I discussed, helps you memorize, understand. It will be put up on the website also. Giffen is the word used is inferior. I thought you could replace it with inexpensively priced essential goods, for example, onion. Then the examiner will thank you for the clarity you brought in. All this is from our book. Everything in our book has been crunched into our table. Everything here. So, if you are through, I will return to my lecture, or you take your time. Can I take this off? Okay. Because every minute matters.
Can I show factors of production table?
Factors, yeah, please, please. Nobody should say the graphic played for 30 seconds more, 1 minute more, time was wasted. So somebody should tell us. factor. You know, land gets you rent. Rent is a general term. After all, from minerals you don't get rent. That's a general term. Whatever, from agriculture you don't get rent. That's a general term for the income from land is called umbrella rent, labor, wage, capital, interest, entrepreneurship, profit. The return on these factors are described in one word like this. So when you say capital, you assume broadly it's finance capital. But then you have machinery, you got intellectual capital, all that. So I'm sure you're through with this.
Yes.
Okay. Now, so we have seen how a variety of goods get their names and what the descriptions are.